Hey, hey everyone. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about today is storing the right type of food. Do you sometimes wonder why you need to store the right type of food for your family? It's a little overwhelming at times, and I understand that. You sometimes ask yourself the question, should I buy freeze dried food? Should I dehydrate food? Should I pressure can food? What should I do? Do you remember when you were growing up, your parents, your grandparents, and they had 50 pounds or 100 pounds containers filled with powdered milk, beans, and sugar? I remember my mom's containers. She kept them downstairs in the basement next to my grandfather's winemaking barrels, and we had them in the house in Atlantic City and on the horse farm in Morristown. And I still remember the shelves in the kitchen at the horse farm filled with jars of my grandmother's Sunday sauce and all the vegetables that were harvested from the garden. And there is nothing more exciting than seeing the food that we produced from the garden stored on the shelves for the family for the year. And I want to talk about this important subject because there are new people coming into our community that don't know where to start. And not for nothing, but there's nothing better than a little bit of a refresher course, and it never hurt anybody. So here's the deal. Life is busy, and I realize that pressure canning is not as popular as it was years ago. And you can call those vintage skills or pioneer skills either way. The USDA is no longer having testing kitchens for canning food. According to the USDA, people would rather buy fresh food in season or fruits and veg in cans or down the frozen aisle of their local grocery stores. Well, fast forward to now, and I think things are changing. More and more people are back to preserving food via water bath canning or pressure canning. And plus, now there are freeze dryers that are available for sale. Dehydrating food has been around for a long time, and people now make powders with their dehydrated food. I understand that a lot of us no longer want to can anymore. Either you have enough or you just don't have the energy to do it anymore. It's a huge job to pressure can foods. I understand, but I still do it. So let's talk about the right food storage for you today. And I'll share some that I like to store. This is truly a personal topic because we all have different situations in our lives, including our budgets. And here are some suggestions, but please note that I use some of my food supply monthly and I rotate it as needed while checking on the expiration dates of the items that I use. I only buy fruits and veg, meats and cheese, and all the basics to cook from scratch with. So the first thing is freeze-dried foods. The great thing about freeze-dried food is that you can eat it right from the can. Some of the fruits like pineapples, strawberries, apple slices, they're great healthy snacks. You can eat green beans and corn right out of the can too. It's easy peasy to use if you have a can opener, but please remember to store a few good can openers. So the pros. Freeze-dried food in number 10 cans will store longer than dehydrated foods, typically about 25 years if unopened in a room with temperatures 55 to 70 degrees or so. So check with the manufacturer when you purchase your food storage at the number 10 cans. I only buy Augustin Farms. There are a wide variety of freeze-dried foods on the market today, but Augustin Farms has the best deals in my opinion. The cons. I almost hate to say any cons because it's the best way to buy food storage for long term. The con would be they are more expensive, but for me, I could sleep at night knowing that those cans will last a lifetime, well, at least 25 years. So unless you're using them all the time and not just for reserve, they're very cost effective since you don't have to replace them as often. The next thing are home dehydrated foods. Now, I love using my dehydrator. It's fabulous, but I don't dehydrate for long-term storage. I dehydrate excess fruits to make healthy snacks, and I dehydrate veg for soups and stews. And I love buying frozen veg because they are ready to dehydrate. They use less space in a quart-sized jar than the space that they would take up in the freezer. And I use them for soups and casseroles and soups. And storage life is generally 1 year max using Food Saver without oxygen absorber. The pros, they're almost free because we're not wasting anything and we are dehydrating them for another meal. Cons, short shelf life, 1 year max. So the next thing are store purchased canned goods. So here's the deal. I hope that you buy some cans that every family member would eat after a short-term disaster. Buy case lots for your non-perishable foods when they are on sale, and only buy the ones that you and yours will definitely eat. The pros, well, you can use a can opener and a meal is ready in minutes or with or without heating it on a cooking device. Cons, they don't have a very long shelf life, typically 2 to 5 years, and then the food starts tasting like the can itself. I often wonder what it is being absorbed in the can, in the food from the can. You know what I mean? Just the thought of that. But, what are you going to do? It's a metal can. But I know I have eaten canned foods, that are older than 5 years. It's the tomato products that I worry most about because the acidity, tuna gets mushy, but it's still edible. But some important issues to consider are health related. Generally, freeze dried, dehydrated foods maintain their nutritional value over time. You need to consider buying foods that have protein and vitamins and minerals and fiber because we need daily those protein and vitamins and minerals for good overall health. A complete diet needs to also include fruits and veg. So plan to store things like peas and corn and green beans and lentils and legumes. And we all love canned peaches and cherries and apricots and citrus fruits like oranges and tangerines and grapefruits. But also don't forget the herbs and the spices, particularly your salt and your pepper. And we also need some fun foods that may not last as long, but we all love peanut butter and other nut butters like hazelnuts and Nutella, things like that, jams and jellies and beef jerky and crackers and some condiments like mustard, ketchup, and mayonnaise. But also remember that you can get a complete protein from items like beans, okay? If you're a meat lover, protein can be found in a can of beans, whether it's beef, chicken, pork, fish, like salmon. There are shelf-stable dairy products that can provide the calcium that you need, but they don't last as long on your shelf, and that may include formula for your infants. So you should have a good supply of things with long-term storage attributes so you are not having to replace them all the darn time. And that would also include your rice, your beans, your pasta, your grains like whole wheat and oats as well. Okay. All right, guys, that's all for this video. I will see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fear less. Ciao.